See, that's what I don't understand. What makes it go away and what makes it come back? Because I open it up and it'll be there. Uh-oh. Oh, wait a minute. There we go there. And it's there. I know you can make that go away, but I don't know what makes it go away and come back. I don't know what that is either. Oh.
Well, Dell is getting smart. They don't put the warning label on there anymore.
They don't, do they? Took too much heat. See it go away. Damn it. Gotta be something like it this time.
I'd rather. I saw a bad rollover on 76.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And everyone remember, turn your microphones on, your cell phones off. We'll have roll call.
Mayor Schomburger.
Here.
Counselor Anderson. Here. Counselor Bain.
Here.
Counselor Baker. Here. Counselor Becker.
Here.
Counselor Quinlan.
Here.
Everyone has a copy of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 27th. Are there any corrections? Hearing none, they stand approved as submitted. Moving on to management, the Mill Street Waterline Project Bid Award. Dale, I'll let you talk about that.
Thank you, Mayor. In your packet, you should see a recommendation from our consultants, JDS Hydro, in order to award the Mill Street Waterline Looping Project to Ransom Boone Excavation for a total of $168,125.46. Ransom Boone Excavation was the only bidders on this particular project. To bring council back up to speed, what we're doing here is, as you may be aware, we're planning on rebuilding Mill Street from Colorado Avenue to Custer, and we're going to be getting some federal aid monies to help assist with that. But prior to doing that, we need to loop a water line from Cameron Street over across Colorado. This is something that's in our long-term 10-year plan to do. However, with the Fed aid money coming up right away, it's imperative that we do it this year and get it done before we repave the street. And so I would recommend to council that you accept the bid from Ransom Boone Excavation and authorize the mayor to sign the notice of award. Any questions?
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the Mill Street Waterline Project bid.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion. Roll call vote.
Mayor Schomburger.
Yes.
Counselor Anderson.
Yes.
Counselor Bain.
Yes.
Counselor Baker.
Yes.
Counselor Becker.
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan.
Yes.
Finance.
I make a motion we approve disbursements and payroll from June 27th through July 11th of 2016, totaling $941,585.10. Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? And roll call vote.
Counselor Anderson. Counselor Bain.
Yes.
Counselor Baker.
Yes.
Counselor Becker.
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan.
Yes.
Mayor Schomburger.
Yes. Staff reports. First on the list is the police department. Travis Anderson.
Mine's going to be a little bit longer than normal, so
That's
if you
fine.
bear with me. Everybody's learned of the tragedy that happened in Dallas this week, so the Brush Police Department shrouded their badges in their honor. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd just like to publicly acknowledge each one of the officers that paid the ultimate sacrifice to ensure freedom in a free society. So it'd be Officer Patrick Zamarripa, Officer Brent Thompson, Officer Michael Smith, Officer Michael Kroll, and Officer Lauren Ahrens. Want to also let you know that you have the same type of willing and dedicated officers within this organization as well. Some meetings. Attended a lot of meetings this last week. Met with a lot of the law enforcement officers in the area. Was able to meet individually with each one of the employees in the organization. Got the opportunity to meet some of the downtown business owners. That was awesome. Really enjoyed it. Had some good conversation. Meet with the Chamber and Rotary Club tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have the Lions Club on the agenda sometime in the near future. I'm just waiting to get in contact. I got a call into them, but no return of call yet. So 4th of July went fantastic. No significant issues. You know, we had some rumors, but nothing that we can track down. Sheriff's Office was fantastic. Fort Morgan Police Department assisted. We got a lot of great feedback. We was really visible. All the officers were on duty, so shook a lot of hands and made a lot of good contacts. So that was good. Worker inmates. We've got the Sheriff's Office has a worker inmate program under statute. Those that have been sentenced already, the DUIs, the less violent, I guess, type sentences. So you'll probably be seeing them in town more frequently. We're using them in the police department to do some work. They'll be here, I think, tomorrow and the next day as well. And we're also working with Parks and Rec to get them on board with these inmates. You know, get some out doing some of their community service and helps us out with our weeds. So let's see. First 3 sections of our new policy and procedures completed. Should be in place by the 17th. And then we'll start working on the rest of it. We're trying to take it slow and deliberate so the guys can actually absorb it and understand it instead of being overwhelmed. Agency website's in the process of being completed. I worked on that quite a bit today. September 7th and 8th, we're going to be hosting a Character First Law Enforcement Ethics class. Hopefully all the agencies in the area is going to be attending. It's a one-day class, very enlightening. It's not boring. It's not like any other ethics class that we've probably all been to, so it's more character-based and not just rule-based. Our evidence audit's complete. Should be getting a report from them. Thus far, doesn't look like any issues. So Sterling Police Department was grateful enough to come down and do that for us. And lastly, our reserve program's up and running again. We had 2 inactives that decided that they didn't want to participate any longer, but we've got 1 active. He helped out immensely on the 4th, so that's up and running again. Any questions?
Do you have any updates on school safety?
I tried to get a hold of the school superintendent, and I haven't gotten. He might be on vacation, so I'm gonna keep trying to get him.
Okay. And are you aware of what Fleming School District did with arming some of their staff for this next school year?
No, I have not been any.
I'm not sure how accurate it is, but what I heard was that Fleming School District is going to allow some of their teachers to be armed in their buildings.
Yeah, and I've heard a few school districts are incorporating that, but again, until I can sit down with the school superintendent and see what his path is.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Yep, thanks for all the work you do on the 4th. You guys are busy.
Thank
The
you.
parade, the rodeo, it's a full day.
It was a good time.
Good.
I was telling Councilwoman Anderson a couple of funny stories. It was enjoyable. I got pulled off by a 6-year-old redhead. I know where the world sits now.
Okay. Next on the list, utilities, Dale.
Thank you, Mayor. We're just working through our normal summertime activities, things like tree removal, pothole patching, just several items along that line. We're still in the process of our downtown project. We'll bring you up to bring you up to speed on that just a little bit later during work session. Have some developments. We're just still working through a couple items. So.
Down.
How's mosquito control going?
We've been concentrating extra heavy on the south side. We've heard that
Thank you.
we've had a lot of complaints on the south side. We're still trying to figure out the source of the larva. We've actually went to some BT dunks into Doty Pond, something that would not be bioaccumulative to the fish. We're just wanting to make sure that any standing water that we encounter, we're wanting to try to get to that before they actually become the mosquitoes. But we've been doubling our efforts definitely on the south side. I've asked around a lot of citizens, and I've not had a lot of complaints, but the one area I do hear of mosquito activity is on the south side.
And right in my backyard, but
Okay.
but it has the crew came through the alley, and that does help a lot.
Okay, very good.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Tell them thanks. I appreciate it. And they
I
come
will.
by late, so they're putting in a lot of hours. So
They are.
pass along a thank you from me because it does work.
We'll do that. Thank you.
Anything else? Next down is city clerk, Andrea.
Nothing to report.
Nothing, okay. Community development, Karen.
Just two items to note this evening. The first is been getting ready for the floodplain open house tomorrow evening. Starts at 4 and they'll stay as long as we've got people and questions. So it's definitely an open house format where folks can come and go, and been coordinating with the county as well as the representatives from Federal Emergency Management Association and the Colorado Water Conservation Board. The federal and state agencies are the primary folks that are putting all this together. Here at the local level, we're just doing more support type functions for this. And I'm sure a lot of you saw that at the end of last week, we did get a flyer distributed to a much broader area than what was required. We had a little disconnect with the guys that were helping me, but they erred on the right side of things and, blanketed the town basically. And so definitely couldn't have gotten that taken care of without the help of some folks in recreation and then in the streets department. They were definitely the guys in the trenches making sure that that word got out to everyone. And then, of course, we've had a great article in the newspaper written by Katie, and then our display ads. So we've certainly been doing what we can to make sure that the word is out about that our open house, so that folks can get all their questions answered about the flood map changes. We've also utilized the Chamber of Commerce and getting all that info out. And then the other item I wanted to note is I have started to see some building permit activity for new residential in my office. Had plans sent off to the reviewer for a duplex, and then just received plans for a single family home today. And I understand there's about 2 more single family homes potentially coming down the line here. So we certainly have more available lots. This is just a scratch or a dent in terms of what we could actually use and accommodate in brush. So there's definitely shovel-ready lots, and we're ready to issue permits.
Thank you. Yep. City Administrator, Lonnie.
Okay, a few things from the Recreation Office. Lance wanted to pass on that the design and engineering for the parking lot out at the golf course, that's in progress. And that's a partnership with the Jocelyn Needham Foundation, assisting with the cost for that design work. And Lance said he's going to be meeting later this week with the engineers to give him a little more guidance. And also Lance mentioned that he's getting ready to start working on the grants for a ball field down at Doty Pond, and also recreation master planning. And so those he'll start with those, but he'll probably have to come back to council for kind of a blessing on those grant applications. So you may see that again, and any funding that he may need for those. So that's moving along. And also in the last couple of weeks, the closing on the farm just east of town, that occurred. And what you'll be getting from Joanne is a presentation at a future work session, just talking about the not at a work session, but as an action item, a memorandum from her that shows how the breakdown of funds is going to go, as far as the water fund borrowing from the general fund which we had discussed in the past, but we felt that because we're doing something a little bit unique, we'd rather have council bless off on that versus us doing it administratively. So that'll come back to council at the next council meeting. And the only other thing is I had a call today, and I'm not sure the status of this, but I'll be meeting with Bill Wilson, the superintendent of schools, and I believe the school district may be considering a ballot issue, or maybe two ballot issues, a mill levy override, and then I believe the other is some delayed maintenance and construction costs that they're looking at, maybe even considering a new middle school building is my understanding. So I don't have all the details, but one of the questions that he poses if they move forward is, would the city be interested in the old middle school building, in that facility? And so just came in today, so I'm going to meet with him tomorrow and see what his thoughts are and get more clear direction. But one of the thoughts was preliminary thoughts was, we don't need all of it, but there's maybe a part we need for the storage for like the museum, who they're requesting some storage space. Our recreation department needs some storage space. Public Works probably needs some storage space. So depending on what might be available, it may work for the city of Brush. But then also we need to make sure all those buildings are brought up to codes and things like that too. So, and prior to that, you know, I still think we need to have a fire department building constructed before we shift attention to something different. So anyways, I'll bring back more information to council after I meet with the superintendent. And that's all I have.
Was the grant application, was that for 2 baseball fields? Or just one?
I believe he was starting off with one,
Was he just
but
gonna do one
it
first?
depends on what we can pull together as far as partnerships, because at the best case scenario is we'd be looking at 80% through GoCo, 20% from the city, but still we'd have to figure out where to get $200,000 from. So it might be just start with one and go from there.
And that would that take up the entire space
About half of that space out there would be.
with 2 fields?
Well, with 2 fields, it'll take up almost the entire stretch of from Doty Pond to where the dog walking area is, and then it would go out into that farmer's field as far as you can see the dirt that's been moved in. There may be a little bit that might be outside of it, but not a lot of it.
What are you anticipating for the parking to come off of, come around and park from, what is that, some DLD or park, or come in from, do you have any ideas?
Well, Lance has a set of plans, and instead of me trying to explain it, 'cause I don't have the picture in front of me, we'll just have Lance bring in the plans and show you what those look like.
Because I thought I saw the parking area was kind of right centered in the whole area, and I thought, how are we gonna be getting that into the parking space from all 3 directions, or?
Yeah, we'll bring in the plans and designs, 'cause it's hard to explain it for everyone. So we'll just bring that in at the next meeting. Okay.
Any other council reports?
Yeah, I have a report. Had some things come up during the 4th of July. Campers on the streets. Might be nice to let people have some campers over the 4th of July, you know, people coming in town, let them have some campers on the streets. I guess there was some complaints about not being able to have their campers on the streets with, I don't know, family members visiting or friends visiting, so I'm not sure exactly what the,
Also on our residential streets?
yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the rules are on people having campers on the streets, you know, but,
I think you can have it on the street for 3 days.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought, 3 days.
There's a
Yeah.
few days you can,
okay. So we might just let people have a little more time on the 4th of July weekends to have those on the streets.
Let's have the chief bring that exact code up at the next meeting.
Because I know we have a lot of people come into town and want to park those. There was at least 2 over in my neighborhood. Restrooms for the parade. Had a request for maybe adding a few more restrooms. Because I think we only had 2 that were down by the library. And they were kind of up on a little platform where People in a wheelchair couldn't get up there, so there's a couple people that were concerned about that.
Now, those are not the city porta potties. The city porta
Yeah.
potties were spread out everywhere else. Those are from Christensen, which is contracted with the chamber and the rodeo and stuff.
So just making sure that they're handicap accessible.
And
then,
I do believe also that there was a purchase order notification that was emailed out in the last week or so. And it was a grant application that we did supporting the chamber and the Main Street program. And I believe they had requested in that some porta potties to be
Yeah.
purchased and
Okay.
there may be some funding coming.
And then one person wanted a little more handicap parking at the swimming pool area, baseball fields area. I think right now there's only one space out there for handicap parking. Other than that, I had a lot of positive feedback about the parade and the fireworks and the rodeo. I had a big family reunion, so I had a bunch of people come in and had a lot of positive comments. So.
All right. Any others?
I have one thing I'd like to report on the train horn rule. I've been trying to keep up with this a little bit, and CML has been working with the Colorado delegation and the Federal Railroad Administration to try to get municipalities to respond to changes they'd like to see in the train horn. And some of the ideas that were pushed forward one idea was to amend the train horn rule to allow for flexibility in designing quiet zone protections for urban rail crossings that make it difficult or impossible to meet current quiet zone requirements. A second suggested amendment would allow locomotive engineers to shorten the amount of time a train horn is sounded at urban crosses during late night hours. CML also is urging the Federal Railroad Administration to launch research into new technologies that would create new methods of protecting public safety at crossings while reducing or eliminating train horns. And in the near term, CML has pledged support for the Federal Railroad Administration to create federal grant programs to provide matching dollars for municipal quiet zone projects. So there's several ideas that are being kind of pushed uphill right now that could positively impact our ability to take on the second quiet zone.
All right. And again, I'd just like to say a thank you to the city and everybody here and everything for COMOM. It went great and the city was invaluable. You guys were amazing. So, with everything. So, all right. If there's nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Motion and second, we are adjourned.
We are ready for a work session whenever council is.